Yo, welcome back to the No Cut Sports Podcast with your host, Niall Frazier. And today we got a few things we need to talk about. My fault, y'all. But before we get into it, please, if you could for me, like, comment, and subscribe to always catch this vibe, man. Y'all already know, man. Y'all already know. So, beautiful week so far, man. As y'all know, the Philadelphia Eagles had a beautiful win over the Minnesota Vikings as they took on Carson Wentz. First and foremost, shout out to Carson Wentz too, man. He ain't had the best game, but I still got to show my man love for doing what he did for us in 2017. But Carson Wentz is still Carson Wentz. All respect to him, but he still has the same tendencies that he had when he played for the Philadelphia Eagles. Taking multiple sacks, throwing interceptions. It was a rough day for my guy. Shout out to the bread man in that defensive line. Making my man speeding his clock up, man. I love to say that. Speeding my man clock up, making him make irrational decisions, throwing interceptions like I said. But all in all, man, we need to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. And we're going to start off with who we need to start off with. QB1. You feel me? Shout out to Jalen Hurts with having a perfect passer rating first and foremost. All right. Throwing 2 touchdowns. Actually, no, he had 3 touchdowns. Excuse me. It's 3 touchdowns if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 3 touchdowns if I'm not mistaken. 3 touchdowns. Defense balled out as well. But I really want to just, and I don't want to spend too much time on this, but the conversation is going to have to change with Jalen Hurts at this moment in time. I know we talk about this all the time with the elite. And it's okay. We don't have to all agree if he's elite or not. I feel like Jalen Hurts for the Philadelphia Eagles is an elite quarterback. He shows it time and time again, winning games in various ways with his arm or with his legs, whatever the case may be, whatever it takes to win the game. And even I had to get on board with this, man, because I'm like, bro, this is so sloppy looking, but we winning. And that's why I was trying to give Kevin Patullo in this offense some grace up until the last 2 weeks prior to this game where they had took 2 back-to-back L's, which, things happen, man. We can't win every game. But it was the way that we were going about trying to win or the scheming. And it's just, I was like, what are we doing? And then the A.J. Brown stuff's coming out. His frustrations with the offense and some other players as well. But I feel like all that stirred it up, and we got this on Sunday where you see Jalen Hurts under center with Saquon in the backfield. Saquon's still a threat. They know that, but they're selling out to stop the run. Now, we couldn't get the run off, man, because they went in there trying to get the run off. They're trying to get Saquon going and things like that, but this is a new year, man. And I kept saying, I'm like, well, we got our wide receivers. Why don't we try to get them, mix them in to get the offensive going on? I don't know what happened. I don't know what conversation they had. I don't know. Okay. But they put Jalen Hurts under center, which is kind of like RPO all over again from the 2022 season. They kind of went away from the RPO because, they changed the rules on us. Somebody had to educate me a little bit on that on Twitter. Shout out to my man. But they changed the rules a little bit. Now, I still see like the Chiefs and all that, but I had said this. when I was watching the Chiefs games. I'm like, bro, they have to get a somewhat of a quicker offense, some quicker decisions, man. Make and then make the defense, like gas, like being predictable out of the shotgun and then running in the pistol. Like we gotta make them a little bit more difficult for defenses to read on what we're trying to do on the offensive side of the ball. So with all that being said, put him under center, put Saquon in the back, single high safety. Somebody is going to eat. You have 2 number 1 wide receivers on each side of this ball, plus Jahan Dotson if you want to get him involved. And you see what transpires. Smitty, 79-yard touchdown. He had 183 yards. A.J. Brown, 2 touchdowns, 121 yards. This is what it should have been looking like. Now, don't get me wrong. I was trying to get my man to 5 weeks, but he got to week 5 and he lost. And he lost week 6. You feel what I'm saying? But week 7, he came out with a better game plan. So Kevin Patullo, I have to give him credit, man. They figured out collectively, or he did, whatever the case may be. Collectively, they figured out how to dismantle one of the best defenses passing defense, excuse me, in the league with oh God, I forgot main man name. Forgot main man name. Ex coach for the Miami Dolphins, but you know who I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about. Main man, he don't play when it comes to the defense. He makes it very hard. Jalen Hurts has a perfect passer ring against that. So call it what you want, man. I'm not sitting here saying, we the best, this, that, and the third, but we are the defending champions, and we're starting to look like our old selves again. If they can continue to build on this, I don't see why. I don't see why we can't continue to build on this and then start to implement the run with this play action play. We were going to destroy teams, bro. But we gotta stop playing like we some puppies and play like the big dogs that we are. Straight bully ball. Shout out to Isaiah Rodgers, but they put my man in a blender. My man was in the blender all game. Now this could have been just because they used to go against him last year in practice and OTAs and stuff like that. So this player's tendencies. But overall, if you go against cornerbacks, cornerbacks being in the league 3-4 plus years, whatever the case may be, these players' tendencies. Let your wide receivers put their foot on their neck if they need to, like they did in the Minnesota Vikings game. You got a quarterback that can throw the ball. Let him throw the ball. We see the run's not working. All right, Saquon, you know what I'm saying? Block, you feel me? Or Saquon, whatever you need to do to make sure I can get this ball off. And that's what we did, man. So shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles and shout out to Kevin Patullo. Now, Kevin Patullo can continue to build on this. I don't see Kevin Patullo leaving next year. If he can continue to do what he's doing, this might be the first time in Jalen Hurts' career in the NFL that he might have a back-to-back offensive coordinator. Now you can expand on different schemes. You can have different tendencies off a scheme. I heard Kevin Patullo in his not post game conference, but they had a little press conference today, excuse me, and we talked about there was a play that we ran the tendency off of that we were already running. I said, here we go. That's what I want to start hearing because you've been running that nonsense. You feel what I'm saying? I'm trying to give my man some grace, but he's been running that nonsense. I'm like, bro, where's the tendencies off these plays? Because it's like they know what you're trying to do now. I thought we were starting to see it right, in Tampa. Well, we kind of were seeing it in Tampa Bay because I was at the game and you start doing the pitch plays to Dallas Goedert. I'm like, all right, cool. I ain't seen that. You feel what I'm saying? So we started to see that, they were trying to implement some more stuff into the office, but they weren't. It just wasn't getting it off. I think Kevin Patullo still needs some time. You feel what I'm saying? But I'm thinking he's getting the rings under him. I think the team and the players as well are helping him understand what the players are seeing out there and adjusting to it. So I got to give my man credit for this week. Got to give him credit. So far, I'm still giving my man like a C plus. You feel what I'm saying? Because I can't be mad. We 5-2, but the eye test looked a lot better on Sunday than it did in these last couple of games. So I'm hoping this Giants game that we have coming up this week, we can expand on that. Definitely like what I see through the air. But if we can get the run game going, man, this team will be unstoppable. Now, the offensive line is still, banged up and things like that, but they did do their job. I will give them that, man, because for what we had, they still allowed AJ Brown to get off and Devonta Smith, but they allowed Jalen Hurts time to get the ball out the pocket. Jalen didn't run. He didn't try to run downfield, which was something that I like to see. Because as he gets older, they're gonna want him to be more of a pocket passing quarterback. But all in all, I just like what I seen from the offense, and then shout out to the defense too. You feel me? Jalen Hunt pick six. You feel me? Andrew Makumba, who I ain't gonna say I'm not going go in on Buddy because he's a rookie. He was in the right place at the right time for interception. He got some decent plays, but he has a lot of plays where he's giving up yardage too as well. Something that he's going to have to work on moving forward. I do think he can do that. I think Buddy do need to put some weight on because he is skinny. I'm a skinny dude myself, but Buddy is skinny. He got to put some weight on and get them bigger guys down to the ground, not miss these tackles. Vicky even alluded to it in his press conference today as well. I'm talking about he has a pretty much even season so far where he has good plays and he also has a lot of bad plays. So hoping to see him just come more into his stuff as this season comes along. and things like that. But I do like Andrew McCouba. I got to give my man his credit for getting an interception. But defense played defense played well, man. I can't be mad. Bread man, shout out to the bread man, making my man Carson Wentz's day a living hell. Moral Jumbo, another player, making his day a living hell. So defense is starting to come along. But talking about the defense, before we wrap this thing up, BG is back, baby. He is back. She said she don't want a puppy. She wanted a big dog. Now, Darius Smith done, he retired on us for personal reasons. And hopefully everything is going okay in his life with his situation. Prayers to my man. But now we got BG coming out of retirement. I've been listening to other podcasts where people talking about he's been in the lab, has been in the building for he's been in the building throughout, since he's been retired, but he's been, in the building actually working and working out. So he came out today, and I forget the podcast name that BG has, but came out on the podcast today and announced it. So he will be back. I guess he will be playing this week too if he's in shape and ready to go. So we can expect that. But shout out to BG coming back. I know a lot of people have some, their opinions on, him staying retired or him coming back. Some people think he should have went out on top, but my thing is you can't take 2 championships away from my man. He's been to 3 Super Bowls, won 2. If he can get back, this team can get on the right trajectory. It could be honestly, it really could be a rematch of the Super Bowl we had last year because the Chiefs are starting to find their footing a little bit. They got Rashee Rice back, starting to get that offense clucking. But even the Lions game last night, I'm looking at it, and don't get me wrong, it's the Lions. They're a good team, but I'm still like, bro, Philadelphia Eagles can beat this team, man. They can beat that team. Tampa Bay, another team that we already had cooked. You feel me? Well, I ain't gonna say cooked, but we beat. Another team that ain't got all their weapons now. I think Mike Evans is out for the season. Another team that might not, might start having some problems as well with them being 5-2. So a lot of 5-2 teams, man. But I still don't feel like not the Eagles. I still don't feel like any other team can mess with the Eagles, man. As long as we're healthy and we're doing what we're doing, we expand on what we're doing offensively. This team can be very, very dangerous, man. Very dangerous, and it just goes to show you against the Minnesota Vikings passing defense what Jalen Hurts and his offense can do. So as long as we have competency on the offensive side of the ball, the sky's the limit for this team, man. Kevin Patullo might be, like I said, he might be able to stay here for multiple years. Get his resume up. You feel me? And then he can go ahead about his business if he wants to, because everybody wants to be. Well, I ain't gonna say everybody wants to be, but most people do want to be head coaches because that's where the money is. But him and Nick Sirianni being good friends, best friends, whatever the case may be, this might allow us for the first time to get the favorite word that Jalen Hurts like to say, continuity, okay, in this offense, where we could be looking like the Chiefs every year. You feel what I'm saying? If we can get somebody that is not ready to run out this building and then have like I said, the offensive competency for Jalen Hurts and this rest of this offense, sky's the limit, man. So, yeah, man, I don't want to hold this video up too long, but I did just want to hop on here, give a big shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles, man, because if y'all were here, I said it, man. I was like, this is going to be one of those games. If they don't win, this could be us going off a cliff. And we got what Hard Knocks coming in here, I want to say soon. So it'd be all on HBO and all that. You don't want that. You don't want no drama. I mean, we got drama, but we want the good kind of drama. So yeah, man, it was just a good W, good win for the team. To unite this team back. I don't think AJ is as upset as he was before with the offense, but Buddy is still on demon time. So getting these guys involved, hopefully this allows us to get Saquon and the run game going. Bye week coming up after this Giants game, so this will allow some of the players to get that extra week of rest. Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens, hopefully get those guys back. Then you get Nolan Smith coming back on the edge. Jacorian Bennett is another player that, and I wanted to say this, is another player I'm hoping to see come back and be somewhat useful. Really wasn't, I like some of the stuff that he was doing, but, he was coming here later on trying to catch on to this defense. I just, with Keely, and I'm not trying to be rude with Keely Ringo or Dory Jackson, but it's just like I would like to see somebody out there that is, a little bit more, how can I say, a little bit more skilled, okay, if that makes sense. So, I do appreciate them guys, but you can there's a talent fall off between Quinyon and shout out to Quinyon too. I forgot to throw his name out there for locking down Justin Jefferson. But yeah, the talent level between Quinyon and then the next cornerback too, it's a clear difference. I seen Carson Wentz picking on that side a lot. So what is it? Addison had like 100 plus yards, so that's an indicator to tell you what I'm talking about. So I would like to see cornerback two and Jacorian Bennett at that position if he can fulfill the needs of that job, and hopefully see this team make that next step forward on both sides of the ball, man. We're getting into this, the second half of the season, where teams should start separating themselves, and I think the Philadelphia Eagles will be one of those teams once again. Going back to the Super Bowl, hopefully, God, please let us go back to the Super Bowl and win that joint. Because then they ain't going to have, I mean, they still going to be talking, but they really ain't going to be able to say too much after that. So, with all that being said, man, you already know it's not from the No Cut Sports Podcast. I really appreciate everybody that stops through, likes, comments, and subscribes on my channel. Without y'all, this ain't happening. So, I really do appreciate it. And like I said, if you like what you've been hearing, please like, comment, and subscribe to always catch this vibe, man. But before we get out of here, man, shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles. And before we go, you already know. Let me get a go birds, baby. I'ma holla at y'all. Y'all be safe, man.